From one point of view, the connection between the troubles with Syria and Iran is pretty straightforward. The Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad is Iran's closest ally, and it's linked to the Arab Middle East. This seeming simplicity doesn't negate the atrocities. Nearly 100 civilians were killed this past week in shelling by Syrian troops, in the capital Damascus, and throughout the country, according to reports, and thousands have been killed since the uprising began last year. As we delve deeper, greater complexities arise. Israeli Vice Prime Minister Shaul Mofaz called the actions of the Syrian government a genocide, and singled out Russia for criticism, for providing Syria with arms. Israeli President Shimon Peres on Saturday night, as he left for the United States, called on the world community to do more to stop the killings in Syria. Meanwhile, the British Foreign Secretary, William Hague, says Syria is on the edge of civil war, and to further complicate this prospect, says al-Qaida affiliates are operating in Syria. According to this article, William Hague has raised the spectre of al-Qaida operating in Syria, while at the same time accusing Damascus of brutally targeting specific communities and driving Syrians to take up arms. Hague said regime forces were bombarding neighborhoods, then unleashing militia groups to murder civilians in their homes. He said more sanctions against the regime were likely if the unbrokered peace plan continued to fail, and again appeared to leave open an option for some sort of intervention in the rapidly deteriorating situation in Syria. Hague said security assessments had indicated the presence in Syria of al-Qaida, a group disavowed by the main opposition force, the Free Syria Army, but who regime officials insist are at the vanguard of a now raging insurgency. One of the leading opposition groups, the Syrian National Council, on the 11th announced it had picked a new leader, a secular Kurd, Abdul-Basit Saida, who has lived in exile for the past 17 years. Saida immediately urged new defections, while reaching out to minority communities of Kurds, Christians, Alawites, and Druze, many of whom have feared life after the Assad regime, which has ruled the country for more than 40 years. So who is this new Syrian National Council leader? According to one article, the opposition is trying to pull together and appear more inclusive. Its disarray has frustrated attempts to dislodge the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad. On June 10, government forces shelled rebel-held cities and villages, killing at least 38 people in the Homs area, activists said. It was impossible to independently confirm the death toll. According to this article, the choice of Abdul-Basit Saida as head of the Syrian National Council, which has only tenuous ties to the Free Syrian Army, which is doing most of the fighting against Assad's forces, is aimed at achieving several goals, which is to counter criticism that the group is dominated by Islamists, especially the Muslim Brotherhood. Secondly, it is seen as an attempt to get Syria's minority Kurds to take a more active role in the uprising. Up to now they have stayed mostly on the sidelines. Lastly, the move could help counter criticism that under outgoing leader Burhan Galen the umbrella organization was too autocratic. This is clearly an opportunity, and there is clearly a need for a change, said Peter Harling, of the Brussels-based think tank Crisis Group.